Electroheads, I'm Eilis and today I'm going to be channeling my inner Ross Geller to bring to you Unagi. Heads up though, this isn't a special Electroheads episode in celebration of Friends, nor is it an episode where I eat unagi sushi. That's ill, by the way. Ugh. This is in fact a video in which I review the sleek and oh so stylish Unagi Model One scooter. This cruiser from California is aiming to bring a touch of Tesla and Apple to the scooter market. And for a price of $899 in the UK, it's not cheap, but it is rather beautiful and it has a lot going for it. If you're watching this, the chances are that you might be thinking about buying one. So let's dive in a little deeper because I've got some revelations as well as a questionable issue I encountered, which is all to be revealed, so keep watching. Before we continue, please do make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and consider becoming a patron if you've got some extra money in your pocket to help us make more videos just like this. All right, let's go for it. If you don't know Unagi, they hit the scene back in 2018 after their CEO, David Hyman, who was previously the CEO of Beats Music, by the way. Oh yes, cool fact for you there. Well, he decided one day he'd had enough of people swiping his scooter when he'd popped into the shops to get a tub of ice cream. Yeah. True story. And anyway, so he got to work on creating these beautiful mechanic creatures that we see here today. They've now built a reputation as one of the most portable and lightweight e-scooters on the market, weighing in at a floaty 12 kilograms. Now, Unagi has consciously sourced the lightest and most robust materials to create something quite unique. And let me tell you, it's a winning combo that makes for a fantastic commuter's companion. Not only does it have the power and capabilities for an urbanite's daily ride to the office, but is also the perfect last mile solution for the longer mix and match journeys involving public transport. For example, the other day I travelled with it from South London all the way up to North London, and we all know people in London don't usually cross the river. Via the underground, carrying it up and down flights of stairs, stowing on the tube, and had an incredibly pain-free experience. Starting with the unboxing, you can tell that Unagi wants to create that experience of a premium product. It's not just a purchase, it's a lifestyle investment, just like any game-changing tech on the market. The packaging and design oozes minimalism, from the simple instructions and iPhone-esque boxing to every piece having a purpose. Nothing is excess. No distractions, just Unagi. Okay, sorry, I'll stop that. It's getting old now. Clearly not original.
Say it! Say we are Unagi!
It's not something you are, it's something you have!
Just like a toddler at Christmas, my colleague Rich couldn't contain his excitement when our Model One arrived, so we don't actually have any footage of the build, just scraps of boxing. But Michael from Unagi does, and as you can see, it's a super simple assembly. All you need to do is attach the cables from the stem to the handlebar, screw it into place, charge it up, and you're ready to ride. There are two options available to buy for the Model One. There's the cheaper E250, which has one 250 watt motor, go figure, whilst we went for the top spec GT version, the E500, that offers two 250 watt motors in each wheel, and I have to say, it's a nippy little thing. Don't be fooled by its toy-like appearance and modest-looking acceleration and brake paddles. This scooter is torquey and packs a hell of a punch. I haven't ridden the E250, but for the extra cash, I can almost guarantee you'll want this one. I mean, look how much fun I'm having. Speaking of which, you get 3 speed options. You've got the beginner, which caps at around 9 miles per hour. You've got intermediate, which caps at 12 miles per hour, and advanced, which caps at around 15 miles per hour. Bear in mind, this scooter claims a max rider weight of 125 kilograms, and with me being about half of that, I'd say. Now, I haven't weighed myself in about a year, so we'll have to do a ballpark figure, but I was hitting 15 miles per hour comfortably. So understandably, you'd expect that to waver if you're at the higher end of the weight limit. But Rich, who weighs just under 100 kilograms, has assured me that he was getting up to the top speed with no problems at all. Unagi claims the E500 can handle hills with up to 15-degree inclines, and I can attest I had absolutely no problems with the hills I encountered here in London, which to be fair weren't massive, but compared to something like the Xiaomi, which I have tried and really couldn't hack it, it felt like a rocket in comparison. Yes, the Model One costs double the price of a Xiaomi, but the money is worth it for the dual motor alone. In fact, there aren't many other dual motor scooters out there for this price. Having that extra power to hand will not only stop you feeling like a lemon when you're painfully crawling up a hill, trust me, I've been there, but is also a huge safety feature if you find yourself in a situation where you need to quickly accelerate away from oncoming danger. And the brakes are superb, which again is a big safety issue. Now, at first, I was dubious as the brake pedal is incredibly unassuming, but when you slam it down, you really feel it when it comes to a grinding halt sharpish. The rear LED light also flashes when you brake, which I think is also quite a nice feature.
Wow.
And should you want it there is also a friction brake above the back wheel for the more classic style of ride. I have to say, overall, I am really impressed with this scooter. I've had a lot of fun riding this thing. It's responsive, it looks great, and it handles really well. And depending on terrain, you get about 8.5 miles in one charge, which is actually fine for most commutes. It would be nice to have more, but essentially they've had to utilise a smaller battery to tuck neatly away under the oh-so-thin platform. A little too thin, perhaps? My feet were definitely fighting for room on this one. Chunky shoes are not recommended. Rich was even saying he had to stand skateboard style on it. But if you want a compact scooter, which is probably why you're here, then extra space is something you're gonna have to sacrifice. So what about all the other buttons and features? So the control panel's LCD screen is clear, simple, and has exactly what you need. All you need to do is hold down the power button to start, and instantly you're greeted with a speedometer, mileage, and battery level. You press the power button once for the LED headlight to switch on, and if you have the E500, you press the power button twice to switch it into dual motor mode. Oh yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
This button on the left is the horn, which is a high-pitched sting to the eardrums that will catch anyone's attention, believe you me. And this button on the right is for your speed mode. They're not the best positioning, in my opinion, as I found myself accidentally touching both buttons whilst I was riding, which left me in beginner mode on my first ride, thinking I'd broken the scooter. Thankfully, to my relief, when I got home, I realised that that was not the case. Thank you, Google. Also, just a quick one, the design of the handlebar makes it perfect to hold with one hand and push along. It just fits so nicely in my hand. I'm not even sure if they're meant to do this, but it is too perfect. When it comes to portability, we all want a scooter that can fold down in a flash because the angry bus driver just doesn't have time for it, and because public transport waits for nobody. Well, Unagi have really got this right. It is so easy to fold down. Sometimes I'd find the release would get a little jammed, but it's a simple push down and fold motion that clicks nicely into place. There's no need to align the head with some faffy hook at the bottom. It just rests effortlessly suspended in air, like some illusionist MoMA art piece. Ooh. Ah. I just really wish the handlebars folded down as well to make it extra compact. I did manage to hook myself into a couple of doorways whilst carrying this thing with the handles behind me, but I quickly learned to switch it around to have the widest part at the front for better navigation. Hopefully that's an improvement they'll make for the Model 2. And you know what else they should add on to the next model? A mobile phone holder. That would really take it to the next level because nobody wants to keep stopping and starting to pull out their phone to read maps, which essentially just means you're stopping the fun.
Mate, there's too many lines. There's red, there's blue, there's green. Let me have a go.
Coming down to the wheels, and as you can see, they are a unique set to Unagi. The built-in air pockets act as a stand-in for the lack of suspension, and unfortunately, they don't quite make the cut. Clearly, Unagi has thought this through. The air pockets have been a conscious swap-in for the weightier suspension systems that can really add the pounds, and the smaller 7.5-inch wheels that they have are specific to a compact scooter. I can totally see these working great on smooth California city roads, but here in Britain, we are riddled with potholes and cracks that can catch you off guard and send you flying if you're not careful. In reality, smaller wheels are more susceptible to catching in potholes. Now, compared to being on my 20-inch wheeled bike that I've got, I found myself having to concentrate a lot more on what was right in front of me, which again, takes away from that carefree experience that Unagi market. I'm really hoping in the next model they'll have found a way to keep the scooter light, but have also kitted it out with proper shock absorption. It's a real safety issue that needs to be addressed, and I know I harp on about safety like some molly-coddling mother, but I think we all have a duty to have these conversations to ensure manufacturers are aware of the issues and are striving to make products that give this ever-growing movement to electric mobility a good name, because quite frankly, I've had enough of the vilifying news reports. Speaking of which, staying true to my word, it's time to talk about the mechanical fault that I encountered with this very scooter. After about a couple of weeks of riding it, I did come up with a worrying issue. So I came out of the tube station one day, unfolded my scooter, ready to ride, to find that my steering had completely jammed.
What? It's no... What's...
I couldn't turn the front wheel left or right, which made for a very awkward 20-minute walk to my destination. I think it's fair to say that most newer products will come with teething problems, but after doing some research and some panicked Googling and also speaking to Unagi, this didn't come up as a recurring factory issue. So thankfully, it seems this was just an unlucky instance on my side and not a common problem. So what was it? Well, a bolt inside the stem had either broken off or fell out, I'm not quite sure which, and seized up the steering. Now, I'm so grateful this didn't happen when I was mid-ride at 15 miles per hour, because I could have had a pretty nasty accident. Despite the huge inconvenience, I have to say the response from Unagi was really great. In less than 24 hours, they'd already arranged for a replacement scooter to be sent to me. And that's something that is really important to highlight, because there are a lot of scooter manufacturers that have that mentality of ship it and forget about it.
Name of the game? Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But not Unagi if this experience is anything to go by. And as we know, things can and do go wrong. And when that does happen, there needs to be a responsive and fast-acting customer service, ready and available. There are so many people now that rely on scooters as their sole mode of transportation. And if that goes out of action, so do they. What's also encouraging is that the Model One has an IP54 rating, which is decent. For those of you who aren't quite savvy with the term, it's what we use to rate how sealed a scooter is from the elements like dust, mud, and rain. A rating of 54 means that if you do get caught out in a spot of rain, the only thing that's gonna get drenched is your lovely suit.
Watch this suit, watch this suit.
And with me being situated in soggy old England, the land of grayscale skies, it was only a matter of time before the heavens opened mid-ride. And you'll be pleased to hear that despite the unexpected downpour, the Unagi stayed reliable and true. Finally, I know we've talked about pricing, but what's really interesting and totally unique to Unagi is that in the US, in certain states, they're available for subscription. So just like a Spotify account, you can pay monthly or annually, and when you're done, you can cancel and hand it back. It's a great option if you can't fork out the full price and want to trial them out. However, if you live in the UK, like me, it's full price or nothing.
Bullshit.
In fact, the scooter feels very much aimed at people who've been using rental scooters but want to take the next step. And despite obviously the few grievances on my end and that slight niggling of the lack of suspension, I am officially an advocate. The Model One is for the city commuters who have the extra dosh to essentially bypass the entry-level Xiaomis and take it up a peg with something rather stylish, incredibly portable, and really quite fun. The Unagi is a legitimate, cleaner alternative to a car, and even marketed as such. Your new personal liberation device, as Unagi calls it, gives a sense that they're selling freedom. And that's exactly what you feel when you jump on one of these things. So, if you want a scooter that's easy to set up, easy to maintain, easy to take around, and easy on the eye, this one's for you. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please do make sure to comment down below and let me know if you were considering getting the Model One, whether you're torn between the E250, the E500, if my review swayed it for you, whether you don't want one anymore, if you've got one already, how are you finding it? Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.